Hi, we are from Bina Nusantara University. Myself Nirmala and
Andhitama Puniasila
we would like to present our paper with the title Comparative Analysis of Cadaveric Donation Laws for Anatomical Examination in Indonesia. Cadaver are essential learning mediums for medical students to avoid medical malpractice. A student needs to learn about the anatomy directly, meaning that they will have to study using cadavers. Generally, cadavers that are used by medical students are the unidentified bodies of accident victims. The other way for a medical institution to obtain a cadaver is receiving it from a person who voluntarily donates his whole body to medical institution. So this paper aims to describe the regulatory regulations and the procedures of cadaveric donation in Indonesia, as well as compare it to the other jurisdiction. In this regard is the United States of America and Australia.
This research mainly has four objectives. The first one is to find out how the process of cadaveric donation. The second one is to find out what laws regulate the process of donating cadavers in Indonesia. The third is to find out the process of donating cadavers abroad. And finally, to find out how a law regulates the process of donating cadavers abroad. This research uses both primary and secondary data. For the secondary data, we use some literature research on some statutory documents. The first one is the Indonesian Code of Civil Law, and the second one is the Government Regulation number 18 of 1981. For our primary data, we conduct interviews on the donor spouse, who happens to be a donor herself, and the Department of Forensic and Medical Legal from University of Indonesia.
As the result of the research, specifically with regard to the process of donating cadaver, the first one is with regard to the minimum age of donating cadaver, which is 21 years old, as regulated by the Indonesian Civil Code, Article 330, being an adult person. The second one is the potential donor must fill out a data form provided by the faculty and sign a statement letter sealed with duty stamp. And the third one is there will also be a physical examination making sure that the donor does not have any infectious disease that include but not limited to HIV/AIDS, hepatitis, and TB. The fourth one is the availability of a will or testament made by the donor, so that the medical faculty can accept the will, and it has to be legalized by a public notary. The fifth one, some circumstances prevent the medical faculty from accepting donation. The first is the donor's domicile is located outside the Jakarta, Bogor, Depok, Tangerang, and Bekasi, so the medical faculty can be in the range to pick up the body. And the fourth one is anatomical dissection is carried out by the medical faculty students and medical undergraduates under the direct leadership and responsibility of an expert commentator as stated in the Article 7 of the Government Regulation number 18 of 19. The seventh one, how long the utilization of the cadaver for learning purposes depends on both the will and agreement made between the medical faculty and the donor. And last but not the least, Once the cadaver has been used entirely, the remains will be treated according to the religion or belief by the donors, and the decision to be either buried or cremated has been previously stated in the donation data form, and the University of Indonesia's medical faculty will assist in the burial of the cadaver in a government-owned cemetery. However, if the family wishes the body to be buried in another location or be cremated elsewhere, then the family will have to bear the cost on their own. So now we come to the comparison to the other jurisdiction. The first one is the United States of America, which is in this regard is the Ohio State, respectively the Cleveland Clinic. So for the process, the first one is to be an eligible donor, the person has to be 18 years old. And the second one, the person can pre-register as a donor in Cleveland Clinic through the website or download the form and submit it via email or fax. And the third one is, even if a person has pre-registered to the program, some circumstances may prevent the acceptance of a body, such as severe trauma, advanced decomposition, serious injury, and septic shock. Discovery of infectious disease such as COVID-19, hepatitis, HIV/AIDS, and many others. In addition, extreme obesity ranging from BMI 35 to above. The fourth one, when death occurs, family members should call the phone number on their website to report the death for a body donation program. The clinic will also not be able to accommodate transportation if he or she dies outside the clinic's 100 miles range. Next, the cadaver are used for various medical education and are treated with the utmost care. Studies could also take anywhere between several weeks to 18 months. And upon the completion, the remains shall be cremated, and the clinic will notify the donor's representative and ask them whether they would like to take the donor's ashes to be given to the next of kin or be interred at the Lake View Cemetery.
The final results we obtain comes from a university in Sydney, Australia. First, this body donation program only accepts donors who live in the Sydney metropolitan area. Second, a person is ineligible if he is diagnosed with disease such as AIDS, Alzheimer's, arbovirus infection, Creutzfeldt or Jacob disease, diphtheria, and Ebola virus. Third, this program does not accept donors who have lived up to 6 months or more in Scotland, England, Wales, Northern Ireland, the Channel Islands, or the Isles between 1 January 1980 through 31 December 1986. An eligible person should contact the donor program coordinator and fill out a form. A donor should keep a copy and submit the others to address posted on the program's website. Once a person has been registered as a donor, they will be given a donor card. When a donor has died, the executor or family member has to notify the university or the university's funeral director. Once the university or the director has been notified, they will arrange a transport. They will transport the cadavers to the university. However, if for some reason the cadaver has not been delivered for more than 48 hours, the university will not be able to accept the donation. Generally, the university shall use the cadaver for medical studies for 2 to 4 years. However, with the permission of the NSF Department of Health, the university may hold on to the cadaver for up to 8 years. Once the university has finished studying the cadavers, The remains shall be processed in accordance to the donor's registration form. Therefore, the remains shall be either buried or cremated. Now we move on to the discussion part of our research. After analyzing Indonesian laws, which are the Indonesian Civil Code and the Government Regulation number 18 of 1981, the authors found that the laws we are currently using for cadaver donation leave a great amount of uncertainty. Although a specific law for cadaver donation has not been created, we do, however, have Government Regulation number 18 of 1981 that regulates anatomical dissection. The definition can be found in Article 1, letter B, while the manners or procedures of donation can be found in Article 7. The Ohio Revised Code 2019 explains thoroughly regarding the topic of cadaver donation. The authors found that Australian law is the most comprehensive in regulating cadaver donation for anatomical dissection. The authors found that even though donating one's cadaver is a noble cause, the procedures required for donating is very difficult and rather discouraging. The process of donating one's cadaver in Indonesia is quite different from the process of both America and Australia. The closest law that can be followed are the laws to create a will, which lies within the Code of Civil Law. Article 897 of the Code states that minors who have not yet reached the age of 18 are not allowed to make a will. Some medical faculties, like those of the University of Indonesia, falls in line with the rules set by Article 330 and 1320. These two articles establish that the minimum age for making a legitimate written agreement and statement of consent is 21 years old. With the University of Indonesia's Forensic and Medical Legal Department, they explained that the only way of making cadaver donation to an institution is by creating a will. So, as we are in its initial stage of the research, we drew some of the following conclusions. Number 1, cadavers are an essential learning tool for medical students around Indonesia. With the decreasing amount of unidentified bodies in Indonesia, medical students should look to the cadaver donation as their main source of procuring cadavers. Second, the only relevant laws in Indonesia is spread throughout government regulations and the Code of Civil Law. This pales in comparison to America, which has about 99 sections regarding cadaver donation, and Australia, which has 2 anatomical acts. Third, the author suggests that the Indonesian government should try to design a specific act that discusses cadaver donations. The Ohio Revised Code and cadaver donation would be a good example to establish this regulation. If Indonesia does not create a law, it should explain the procedures of cadaver donation, starting from the definition of cadaver donation, manners of making a cadaver donation, activities performed by the donor's representative or the will's executor, conditions where a clinic or faculty may deny a donation, conflicts between donors and faculty directive, care of remains, and many other important specifications. If possible, the Indonesian government should also start establishing a national program for cadaver donations, so that it will be easier for donors to donate their cadavers, which in the end will help medical institutions to establish a good system for obtaining cadavers for medical studies in the form of anatomical dissection. We, the authors, would like to express our gratitude to the Dean of University of Indonesia's Medical Faculty, the Department of Forensic and Medical Legal of University of Indonesia, and to Ibu Pangesti Widyarti.
Without them, this research will not be possible, so we really thank them for their insight, knowledge, and experience. Happy conference and have a nice day.